Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here, and today we are doing a whip and chat, so pull out whatever it is you have to work on and work along with me. I did complete White Tiger by Diamond Art Club, so now I am working on my rhinestone kit, which is from Crystal Canvas Art. I will have the kit linked down below, so you can also go check out the website if you would like. I've done one full rhinestone kit, and I wasn't very happy with it. So I'm really hoping that this one turns out a lot better. If you remember, I've been on my page for any amount of time. I did a full rhinestone kit from Lao Ji Wong. And I wasn't very happy with the results. The shade, it left something to be desired, I should say. So I'm really hoping I like how this one turns out. I saw Laura Law's Craft Corner finished one from them, and it looked beautiful. So I was like, I'm going to work on this kit. I took a poll for my friends and stuff and asked them which kit I should work on next. And this one was next. And then I'm going to work on the little hedgehogs that I got from, I want to say, fan sales or everyday deals. I want to say it's probably fan sales. I'm going to work on the little hedgehogs sitting on the spool. Looks like they're doing a teeter-totter. Sorry, my words are getting all tied up today. We just finished up homeschooling and my brain is... And I don't know about any other parent that is homeschooling their child right now, but does any other parent want to go tip the teacher? Like, I just want to go tip Maggie and Orion's teachers for all they've done with the kids because I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I'm struggling, y'all. I'm struggling so hard. Orion brought me a math paper today, and he's like, Mom, I need help. I wanted to cry so bad, but I have to be strong for my babies. But I wanted to cry so bad because he's like, a pictograph? Is this the whatever for the pictograph? And I'm like, what the hell is a pictograph? I don't know what that is. So, like, I'm having to, like, look it up in the book, and I'm trying to, like, explain something that I have no clue what the hell I'm talking about to the kid. And Orion's just like, Mom, do you know what you're doing? No, I don't. I really don't. And he's like, should I just ask Miss Phillips? I'm like, no, I'll figure it out. Hold on. After about 10 minutes, he's like, I'll just ask Miss Phillips. Okay, thank you so much. I don't know. And then, of course, he goes and asks his teacher, and his teacher points him in the right direction. So at least she was able to help him because when it comes to math, he already knows. Mommy is no help. I try. I really do try. But a lot of the stuff that he's learning now, I'm no help. Like, he was doing graphs today. Now, I can do graphs for the most part, but if I feel like I'm going back to school with them, instead of me homeschooling them, like, I feel like I'm going back to school with them because I'm having to relearn all this stuff. Maggie's math right now is clocks. She's learning analog clocks and digital clocks. I got that all day. Orion's doing graphs. I don't got that, but I'm going to do my best to get that. Like, I haven't done that type of math in a very long time, and it's not really something I use in my everyday life. So, like, I think one of the few things that I use in my everyday life, why is one of the things I use a science project, which is the baking soda and vinegar science project that everybody did for the science fair. I use that to unclog toilets. Like, that's one of the few things in school that I thought I would never use again, and I use all the time. Well, not all the time, but whenever I need to use it, I use it. So I'm just like, unless this has something to do with vinegar and baking soda, I don't know how to help you. But luckily, their teachers are, like, on point with them, and they get fast responses from their teachers, and we're not having to wait all day. And Maggie's teacher's getting a little bit more gangster with the kids. Like, she's, you guys need to settle down and mute your mics and all this. And I'm like, yes, Miss Bowden, tell them. I can't even concentrate with the gaggle of chit-chattering kids in the classroom, and they're all trying to talk at the same time, and she's trying to read a story, and I'm like, why are y'all even talking right now? She's reading a story, and Maggie's like, Mommy, I already know this story. We read this story. I have this book. And I'm like, well, that's great, but you need to pay attention because you probably don't remember anything out of it, and I know I don't. So when she starts asking you questions, neither one of us going to know what to do. We both going to look lost in the face. Because even though I don't Hawkeye her, I will still stay in her room because a lot of the times what will end up happening is her teacher will skip over stuff and, like, work on different worksheets than is listed on the syllabus, which is fine. But then Maggie will lose focus trying to find the paperwork that she needs to find, and then trying to get Maggie's focus back on schoolwork after she loses focus is just awful. It's hard. So it's like Chinese algebra, trying to get that girl to focus on one thing at a time. And like, she'll go to bend down to pick up a pencil, find a crayon, and then all of a sudden she wants to color. And I'm just like, look, we got to keep focused on class, because the quicker we do this, the quicker we can both be done. And then the moment that they're done with homeschooling, we get lunch, and then they have free time to do whatever they want to do. But Maggie's just been so exhausted after school lately because her workload, I don't know how they got these first graders to do all this work, okay? I can barely get Maggie to clean her room, let alone 12 worksheets, and 5 apps later, Maggie's finishing homeschooling. And I'm like, I don't remember doing this much work in first grade. But then again, they do most of their work in the morning, and then she does the apps by herself, which she can do the apps by herself, no problem. But she does most of her work with the teacher in the morning, and they go over all the worksheets and stuff, which makes it that much easier on me, because then if I don't know what I'm talking about on something, her teacher's going over it. So she just has to focus on what her teacher's saying, which is easier said than done, because usually the teacher has to stop to answer questions. And there was one little boy this morning that was driving me absolutely insane. And he kept telling the teacher he couldn't hear her. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Maggie had to go to the bathroom. But she's like, right now she's talking with her friends, and they're doing their assignments together, which I think is a cool idea. They kind of made their own little study group, where her and like 3 of her friends will sit and do the rest of their work together. Like, if they missed any work on the worksheets during class, they will get together after class and they will work on the worksheets together. And Maggie will work nicely with friends, but anybody else? No. Maggie does not play well with others. Maggie is her mother's child. She just doesn't work well with others. Maggie gets real in class. Maggie is shy. She doesn't like to talk to everybody in class. And I can see why, because there's a couple of kids in her class that kind of intimidate her, because they know a lot more than she does. And even though she's a little bit delayed on what she does know, she's still pretty smart. And so, like, I tried to encourage her to talk more during class. No, she's quiet as a mouse. You can literally hear a mouse piss on cotton. She's so damn quiet in class. But then the moment class is over and she gets together with her friends, she hooting and hollering and, oh my God, I'm like, and you can't be this loud in class when your teacher asks you a question. You got to be quiet as a mouse when she asking you a question, but you get on with your little friends and you can't keep your mouth closed. I see how that works. So that's what she's doing now. And she was going, and they have a little project where they're putting together a little pig from the show Olivia, which was one of Minna's favorite shows growing up. So I was helping her with that before I started recording. Plus, she's kind of on punishment, so like I have to keep eye on her. She got in trouble yesterday for attacking her brother. Now, I know there's sibling rivalry, okay? But I feel like in my house, it's more like sibling, I'm going to kill each other. Like, okay, perfect example. So yesterday, I'm sitting here, minding my own business. I just finished recording the video for the BOGO. Which, by the way, if you saw that video, yes, the cases are all now sold out. They sold out 2 hours after the video aired. Holy crap. They weren't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. Like, they sent me a message and they're like, we're literally sold out of all the cases. And I'm like, oh, that sucks, because I was going to buy another case. So if you see that video, yes, all the cases are sold out. So I do apologize. I told y'all to jump on it. I told you. Don't hesitate whenever I show something. You just jump on it, okay? Anyways. Well, when I finished that video, I'm sitting here minding my own business, because making these videos will wear you out, y'all. You don't understand. It's like, it is exhausting trying to make videos. So, like, especially now after, like, the whole stroke thing and everything else. So I try to take it easy. So after each video, I take about 10 to 15 minutes where I'm just taking a little break. No big deal or anything. Y'all, I've been dying to start this canvas. That's why I'm going game busters on it right now. You're probably sitting there like, oh my gosh, you got so much done already. Yeah, I've been going game busters on this. And because I keep having to stop and start, I had started the canvas on camera. I started, and then I had to stop because then the dog started barking and the kids were running through the house. So yeah, anyways. So after I taken my break yesterday, I noticed that the 2 big cases were missing, and I was getting ready to put them away after the video, and I couldn't find them. And here, Maggie took them. And I was like, oh, okay, well, don't break them or, hit anything with them because, I don't want the cases and stuff to break. And she goes, okay. So she's sitting there, she's minding her own business, and she decides she wants to color. Now, to color, she has to go into Orion's room because Maggie is not trusted with art supplies, okay? Maggie cannot be trusted with art supplies. Maggie will color all over herself, all over her toys, all over her everything in her room if you give her art supplies unsupervised. So Maggie's not allowed to have color pencils, crayons, anything like that in her room. So we keep it all in Orion's room because he's responsible enough to not color all over the walls and stuff. So she goes into his room with the cases and she's like, I'm on official business. I need to get a coloring book and crayons. Well, then he starts fussing at her to get out of his room. I'm trying to keep them quiet because Mr. Coffee's still trying to get used to his new schedule, so he sleeps during the day now instead of being awake with us, which is where he's at now. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But he is fussing at her to get out of his room. And I'm telling Ryan, hey, calm down. She's just coming to get a coloring book. She's not coming to mess with you. And he's like, she's messing with stuff in my room, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing I hear is, get out of my room. Don't. And I was like, what the hell was that? It was a very hollow sound. So I was like, what the hell was that? So I jump up and I go look. I see Orion getting up off the floor, rubbing his head. And Maggie sitting there going, what? I just wanted a coloring book. Why does he have to be so mean? And I'm like, Maggie, did you just clock him in the head? And he's like, yeah, she just hit me with the case. He's not bleeding. He's fine. I did have to fuss at Maggie, though, because you don't just walk around hitting people in the head with stuff whenever you get mad about something. And she was like, well, he doesn't have to be a butt every time I come in his room to get a coloring book because this is where we keep them. And I was like, yes, but you can't just go around clocking people in the head. And she goes, I know. She goes, but I know how to protect myself at least. I'm like, Maggie, you're protecting yourself against your brother who wasn't even trying to cause you any harm. You're just attacking people. And she goes, but it's fun, Maggie. Like, y'all, I worry about her future husband. I have a bad feeling that her future husband's going to endure some kind of pain physically from my child. Usually she knows that she's not supposed to hit people, but when it comes to Orion, she will hit and terrorize him all day. It's a sibling thing, I guess. I don't know. Maggie and Orion always got along, or Minna and Orion always got along, so I didn't have to worry about that with those two. But with Maggie hits everybody all the time. Like, she's just, that's her way of showing love, I guess. I don't freaking know. I just know that she's causing bodily harm to her brother, and her brother is just like, he's tired of it. And it's one of the reasons why he doesn't like her in his room, because he knows he's going to get attacked at some point. It might not be instantly, but he's going to get attacked at some point. But then she tells me that it was no different than when he smacked her in the face with the Pop-Tart. And I'm like, I'm sorry, say what? Apparently, one day last week, they were here and I went to go walk the dogs. And they know whenever I leave, because Mr. Coffee's getting used to his new schedule, that he's here, but he's asleep. So if they need anything, to wake him up. So I'm sitting there and I'm minding my own business, and I come back and I didn't hear anything. They didn't tell me anything about the dog. But then again, it was also the day, I guess, that they were doing the chair jousting. And Maggie was sitting at the table and they were talking about something, I guess, from what Ryan told me. They were talking at the table about something, and she dared him to slap her with a Pop-Tart. Now, I was a kid once. It wasn't that long ago. And I don't remember ever looking at my brother and sister and going, hey, could you pimp slap me with a Pop-Tart? Is that a thing, like pimp slapping your child with a Pop-Tart? Like, I'm like, why would you tell him to slap you with a Pop-Tart, Maggie? She's like, because I didn't think he would do it, and he did, and it was still hot. And I was like, so you essentially just got hit in the face with a hot Pop-Tart. And she's like, yeah, and it wasn't very nice. So I told him I would pay him back, and I'm like, okay, somebody come get them, y'all. Somebody, I'm just going to put them for sale on Craigslist and hope for the best. Like, oh my God, I can't. And then in Maggie's class, I thought it was very, very, like, I don't know if it was coincidence that the teacher did this or not, but they're talking about tigers right now in class, and y'all know where this is going. Now, I tried to watch that show, the Tiger King thing. I fell asleep on it, but I watched most of it, so I got the gist of it. Which, how many people, show of hands, think that lady fed her husband to the tigers with the sardine oil? We're just going to put that out there. So I need number 5. I like the fact that they come in baggies, and their baggies are numbered. That's really cool. 8. Until I have to find a number, and then I'm just scrambling. Here we go. Number 5 is number 4. Okay. Anyways, so they're learning about tigers in class right now. And I'm sitting there, and I'm trying not to laugh because they're like, you know, talking about all these tiger facts. And I'm just sitting there, and I got this grin on my face because all I can think of is Tiger King. I'm trying not to laugh, but as I'm sitting there very innocently just smirking and laughing on the inside, the teacher goes, you know, go ahead and pull out your pamphlet. We're going to learn about tigers today. I was like, like, you know, trying to hold it back. And then she starts reading the little insert about tigers, giving them all the tiger facts. And some little kid in Maggie's class pipes up and goes, hey, Miss Bowden, you seen that show, The Tiger King? We watched it last week. Do you think that lady fed her husband to the tiger? Do tigers eat people? Y'all, why did they have to have a 20-minute discussion this morning about how tigers don't eat people? And I'm like, tell that to that Carol Bassett's lady husband. I'm pretty sure he got eaten by a tiger. I'm just saying. And she's like, no, tigers don't eat people. And he goes, but we were watching it, and my mom says that she's pretty sure that lady fed her husband to the tiger. I'm just sitting there trying not to laugh. The little boy was so serious, and the teacher's trying to explain to him that, you know, he shouldn't be watching shows like that. He's too little. And he's like, well, my mom let me watch it. I liked it. The guy had a mullet, and I was like, I wanted to die laughing so hard, but I was like, no, don't be that parent. And then there's another parent this morning on there. We're all sitting there, and I don't know what her kid was doing, but her kid wasn't paying attention to the lesson. And I get that every once in a while, the kids kind of, like, their brain just, you know, wanders. They're in first grade. You have to expect their brains to wander. So the little kid's brain's just wandering off and whatever. And the lady's, you know, fussing at her kid. Hey, you need to focus. Stop playing with your pencil and listen to what your teacher's saying. Well, he still plays with his toy or whatever. She takes the toy away from him. He's still steadily sitting there and playing with this toy. And she's like, will you put the damn toy down? Now, you're supposed to have your mics muted whenever you're in the class, like whenever they're live with the teacher, because then that way she can talk and doesn't have to talk over everybody. But the little boy was so focused on whatever it is he was playing with that he forgot to mute his mic. And so the whole class got to hear her, like, cursing her son out. And she's like, will you put down the goddamn toy and focus on what she's talking about? Don't ask me no stupid ass questions whenever we're done. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then little boy's like, I just don't want to do this. I want to play with my toys. She gibbs him. She smacks the little boy upside the head. Now, because the kids are homeschooled and teachers, if you don't know, are mandated reporters, you cannot physically hurt your child on camera in front of 21 little kids, okay? This lady just hauls off and smacks the little boy upside the head. I felt so bad for the little boy. And the lady was like, and the teacher is like, you know, we're going to have a conference after we're done, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, so wait, you're going to treat me like a child? Like, they had this, this morning's school class lesson was all kinds of all over the place. I felt so bad for the teacher because you got kids that aren't muting their mics. You have people screaming and yelling in the background. You got this woman, like, pimp slapping her son and cursing him out. You got other kids talking about Tiger King, and you're just sitting there, and Maggie's just like, she has this look on her face like, what is happening right now? Maggie has not, of course, seen Tiger King, so she has no clue what the little boy is talking about. She thinks he's talking about, like, Daniel Tiger, and I'm like, wrong tiger, Maggie. And She's like, Mommy, I want to see this show. I'm like, no. I don't really need to give you any more ideas of things that you can do to hurt people. You do enough harm by yourself. You don't need any ideas. Even Mr. Coffee looked at me funny whenever I said about watching that movie. He goes like, I need to give you ideas. I'm like, ideas? I'm not feeding you. What tiger do I know that I would feed you to? Anyways, so it was an interesting class this morning. She did eventually get most of her work done, and what she didn't get done, she's on the Google thing now with her little friends, which I'll have to get her off of there in about 20-30 minutes so that she can finish up the rest of her schoolwork, because I know she's not going to feel like doing it, but she has to finish it up or she'll get behind. And then I find out that they don't have to complete all of the work. A lot of it is just enrichment. As long as they complete the paperwork and the assessments, they're fine. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I've been like busting my balls trying to get this kid to do all this schoolwork, and you're telling me it's just for enrichment? If she needs enrichment, we got bread. We don't need to be doing all this extra work now. Like, oh my God. But I still have her do a majority of it because she needs the extra help, because, you know, I want her to be able to read by the time she turns 8. By the time Orion was 8, he was already reading by himself. And all kids are different, I get that. But all the kids, except for Maggie, have been reading by the time they were Maggie's age. So I've been working very diligently with her to help her learn to read better. Now, Maggie can read, but Maggie's one of those kids that you have to either A, bribe, or B, make her think that you're not smart and that she knows the answers and you don't, and then she will do what she's supposed to do. So I'm living the life of, well, Mommy can't read, so can you help read to Mommy so that Mommy can learn how to read? And she's like, well, yeah. So like, I'll pretend like I'm sounding out a word or something. She'll be like, Mom, that says potato. Oh, okay. Well, how do you say this one? So I just have to keep pretending that I don't know what I'm talking about, and she will read. But if Maggie's in a spot where she doesn't feel like doing something, she won't do it. There's no force. Most kids you can force by, like, you know, threatening to take away games or toys. Maggie doesn't care. Maggie will give you her games and toys and tell you that that's fine. She doesn't want to do it. But I have noticed over the weekend that we've been having issues with Maggie not wanting to eat dinner. And I thought, again, maybe she was sneaking snacks in her room because she's a little snack thief. And so I went and cleaned up her room the other day. We cleaned out both the kids' closets. I don't know if anybody else does spring cleaning with their kids' toys, but let me just say, may the force be with you, because, oh my God, I didn't realize how much crap she's accumulated over the last year. And it's not like I can take and donate the toys to the Salvation Army right now with everything going on. So she got to keep all her stuff, but trying to organize the 5 bins worth of stuff in her closet that are toys, it was, I literally spent all morning doing that, and then I just kind of like passed out on the floor and went to sleep. I was like, I'm done for the day. I can't function. So yeah, sorry, I had to go check on Maggie. She called me. Anyways, so we are currently getting ready for Mr. Coffee to start his new schedule with the overnights. He will only work 20 days of overnight. So if you are someone who attends my live, Mr. Coffee will not be in the next 3 lives because he has to work. I'm not sure what's going on with his schedule right now. As far as I know, oil prices are like at an all-time low, to the point where it's scary out here in these streets. So where I am worried about his job, I more so just don't like the fact that he's working nights. I can handle nights for the most part, but Maggie doesn't do the best with change, especially when it comes to Daddy. Because even though, does anybody else have kids that I will be sitting here and I can be over here just asleep, okay? I can be dead sleep here on the couch. Mr. Coffee can be sitting there watching TV or playing his game or playing on his phone, and the kids will come, and he'll be sitting right next to me. The kids will come wake me up to ask me like stupid questions that they could have easily have asked him. They act like he doesn't exist, but then the moment he's not here, where's Daddy? When is Daddy coming home? And I'm like, why? You don't even talk to the poor guy. The poor guy just sits over here all day like he's invisible. Like, I know he's pale, but he's not transparent. Like, now, come on now. So, like, I'm sitting here on the couch after we cleaned out Maggie's closet on Saturday, and or Sunday, and I like fall asleep. And I hear, Mom, And Mr. Coffee goes, well, Maggie, what do you need? She goes, I want a bag of chippies. So I was going to ask Mommy, can I get a bag of chippies? And he goes, why didn't you ask me? She's like, because you're not in charge. And I was like, oh, sweet Lord and baby Jesus. I was like, Maggie, when Mommy's asleep, Daddy is in charge, honey. And Daddy's in charge whether Mommy's asleep or not. And she's like, but you always get all of our stuff for us. I'm like, yeah, that's because Daddy's usually at work. But when Daddy's here, you can ask him questions. And she goes, okay. She looks at Mr. Coffee and she goes, Daddy, when do you go back to work? And I'm like, oh, sweet Lord. Mr. Coffee has been off work since Friday. Because he's on a hitch now, he'll work 20 days on, 20 days straight, and then 10 days off, and then another 20 days. And it switches between days and nights. So when he goes back on Wednesday, he will be working nights. So he's not happy about it, which I can't blame him, but it is what it is. He at least still has a job. So I try to look at the bright side of the situation. It sucks for us all, but at least he still has a job. So because he still has a job, I'm at least thankful for that. So 14. It's just taking its toll on him because he's learning that he has to go to bed later than everybody else and then spend the entire day asleep. He's not about that life, y'all. He don't like it at all. He's like, I get lonely at night by myself. And I'm like, well, I can't stay up with you at night because I have to homeschool the kids in the morning. Now, if I didn't have to homeschool and I was just hanging out with the kids all day, all right, fine, I might stay up with you. But I'm like, I can't do that because I have to be on my A game in the morning because they be asking me math questions. And we all know that I don't do math. So I got to be on my A game for whenever I want to start crying. Every time Orion shows me a math problem. And he had Coyote Academy and they were doing like algebra questions for fun. And I'm like, who does math for fun? He goes, Coyote Academy. I'm like, so they hate my life. Like, this is what's happening right now. They just hate my life. And he was like, no, Mom, this is for me. This isn't for you. I'm like, then why are you asking me questions about your algebra? So, anyways, Orion's having fun with school online. Maggie, not so much. Mr. Coffee is getting used to his new schedule, which already he doesn't like. And I'm like, it could be worse. You could be without a job. And we got our stimulus check and he wanted to spend a good portion of it on computer parts. And I'm like, look, we got bills to pay. You just got a new truck. Oil prices are down. I'm like, we're not even sure if you're going to have a job from one day to the next because his job likes to do things real last minute, like this whole schedule change. He just found out about the schedule change last week, I think, or the week before last. And it was implemented like the day after he found out. So I'm like, because your job likes to do things last minute, I can't afford to buy you $1,000 worth of computer parts to build a gaming computer, and then come to find out like the next day you don't have a job. No, that's not gangsta. So we're not doing that. So I didn't let him buy the computer parts. And where I would love for him to be able to, you know, splurge and buy something really nice for himself, $1,000 is a lot to spend on something that nobody else can touch but him. So I was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Maggie was like, well, Mommy, if he puts the animal game on there, I can play the animal game with him. And I'm like, well, what's the animal game? She's talking about Animal Crossing. And I'm like, I don't see Daddy putting Animal Crossing on his computer for you to play, honey. His computer is hooked up to the TV so that whenever he plays, he can play it on the big screen instead of playing on his computer. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't see Daddy letting you play Animal Crossing. But sure enough, she gave him the big doe eyes and was like, Daddy, can I play Animal Crossing on your game? And he's like, she ain't playing one of those games on my computer. There's real games, and it's only for real games and hardcore gaming. And next thing you know, you see her sitting there playing Animal Crossing on his computer, sitting on his lap, and he's like, oh, no, don't jump now, jump now. And I'm like, no, she ain't gonna be playing those kitty games on your computer, huh? So we have been trying to enjoy and do the best we can with what we have. After Live Friday, Mr. Coffee was sitting here and he goes, you know, what do we need from the store? And so now with everything going on, he knows to go look for certain things at the store. And so I was like, you know, look for the usual stuff, which is Charmin toilet paper, butter, Jeffy cornbread mix, you know, the usual stuff that I like to have in the house. Now, I'm not trying to hoard anything. I just want enough for us to sustain a month and then try to find it all again next month. So he goes to the store Saturday. And he was gone for a while. He didn't call, which is unlike him. He always calls when he goes to the store. Like, I don't know if anybody else's spouse does that. You'll make them a list, and then they'll call you when they get to the store to ask you about the list. And I'm like, didn't we go over this before you left? What questions do you possibly have? And he's like, the red bag or the blue bag? What does your list say? The blue bag, but I was making sure you wanted the blue bag. Okay. Like, anybody else's husband have to call them every time they go to the store for something stupid, and then you're like, it's on the list. Anyways, so I'm sitting there, and I'm wondering where he's at. I'm on the phone with my friends, and next thing I know, he comes rolling up, and I was like, oh, well, you guys are going to have to hold on, because Mr. Coffee just came back from the store, and he's going to need help bringing the groceries in. Now, we live on the first floor of an apartment building, so he'll bring the groceries up to the porch, put them on the porch, and then I'll just drag them into the house and put them away. Well, I'm sitting there, and he has this look on his face. He has this, shit-eating grin on his face, and he's just like, oh, I got this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I'm looking at him while he's looking like that. He has this smug little smirk on his face, and I'm just like, what is your deal? What did you do? He goes, nothing. He grabs like 6 bags, and his chest is all poked out, and he looks like he's been carrying suitcases under his arms or something. And he comes waltzing up to the porch, and he goes, yeah, I did that. I'm like, you did what? I looked down, y'all. I thought I caught the Holy Ghost on that porch. This man done went to the store. He done found butter, Country Crock butter, with the blue label. Like, it's not just Country Crock in general. It's Country Crock with the blue label for calcium, okay? He found Country Crock butter. He found 4 boxes of Jiffy cornbread mix. And he found Charmin Ultra Soft toilet paper. I swear, y'all, I almost jumped over that balcony to give him the biggest hug. Oh my God. Apparently, he got there at a good time when they were stocking. And they just happened to have had stocked the toilet paper and stuff. The very next day, he goes back to the store because he forgot to pick up like 1 or 2 things. And none of the stuff that he found the day before was on the shelves. And I'm like, so we now know that if you go on Saturdays around noon, you can get everything we need because they'll be stocking all the stuff that we need. And he goes, apparently so. So we're going to try it again in a month here. But I'm hoping this virus stuff, ends soon because a lot of people I know are ready to go back to work. I just want the oil prices to go back up. So I'm not sitting here having to worry about whether or not he's going to have a job or not. And to see if they'll change his schedule back because I can't stand this new schedule. When he works 4 to 4 during the day, he's asleep by 6 o'clock. When he works 4 to 4 at night, he is gone by, 3:30? He'll have to leave by 3:30, and then he doesn't get back home until 4:30 the next day, like early the next morning. And he isn't the biggest fan of the, working overnights because he would rather be home. And with his old schedule, he was home every night, whereas now he won't be home every night. And we were concerned because the last time his schedule changed, that's when she started having the night terrors. If you guys remember, if you've been on the channel that long, little Maggie was having the night terrors. That only lasted for a couple of days, though, thank God, because I don't know how parents that have children that deal with it on a daily basis, because that was heart-wrenching just for the couple of days that we did have to deal with it. So there was that. But, yeah, so we're just hoping that everything works out how it should, that this virus is over soon. The kids are ready to go back to regular school, except for Maggie. Maggie's just like, nope, I like this. I like school this way, because I can go to school in my pajamas. And I'm like, I feel you there. There ain't nothing better than to jump out of bed and just log onto the computer and boom, you're in class. And I'm like, if this works out, what was it? I think my sister was telling me, she goes, now watch, you're all excited now and you're getting into the groove of, homeschooling the kids now, but I bet you're going to be one of those parents that when it's time for the kids to go back to school, you're not going to want them to go back. I'm like, no, I'm going to be that parent that kicks them out of the car, throws their book bags at them and speeds off. Okay. You don't understand. I'm not built like that. I'm built like a Chevy. I'm not built like a Ford. I'm not Ford tough. I can't. No, I'm not supposed to be a homeschool teacher. I do enough to help them graze by, but I don't do enough to be like, oh, well, I did such a great job. I think I want you homeschooled all the time. This isn't something I would do all the time. No, with the current circumstance, I kind of have to. So I'll put my big girl pants on and do it. But all the time, no. There's certain jobs that I shouldn't have, which are any jobs that deal with people, because I'm not a people person. I'm okay by myself, talking to people every once in a while person. I'm not a big people person. Like, you'll never see me in a crowd of people. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't care that I wasn't popular in high school, because I'm not big on like being the center of attention. It's very awkward. I think a lot of people are like that though. Like, I don't like being the center of attention. I can't do it. I don't like having all the attention on me. I don't like being the center of attention. I'd rather just be that wallflower that just sits back and looks pretty, and randomly, just will put a word in here or there. But I'm not big on being the center of attention. So there's that. Oh, I finally figured out where that hua can came from. Now, if you're in my group, Crafters Anonymous with Miss Crocheting Coffee and Rachel Ray, which is always linked down below. If you are not in the group and you're new to the channel, hey, I'm Miss Coffee. Yeah, I randomly introduce myself in the middle of videos. But if you're not in the group, I have made a post about somebody sending me a hua can. And I don't know about you, but I hua can't. If you're a fan of hua can, that's fine. I ain't got nothing against you. Do your thing, boo-boo. But I am not a friend. I am on the side hua can't, not hua can. So I couldn't figure out where this canvas hat came from. The image I didn't recognize on the thumbnail or on the canvas. So I was like, I don't know what the hell this is. Here, I had made an order with Diamond Art House, which you guys will see that unboxing probably Friday, I think. If not, you'll see it next week for sure. But I'm sitting here and I'm racking my brain trying to figure out where the hell this came from. It came to my house a month ago. I unboxed it and everything, but I was like, where the hell did this come? Like, who sent this here? Like, who hates me enough to send me a hua can? Now, there are folks out there that don't like me. I'm okay with it. I'm at an age where at this point, I don't care if you like me or not. My life still goes on whether you like me or not. But I'm like, who would have been like, oh, we're going to get her back good. We're going to send her this hua can with the popping drills. The drill quality was garbage and had a bunch of tabs on the drills, and there was a lot of trash. And I was just like, yeah, I don't plan on completing this canvas anyways, but who sent this to me? Well, I'm sitting there minding my own business, and take it, that was a month ago. Yesterday, I get in a canvas that I had ordered from Diamond Art House, and I recognized it, and I was like, oh, I bet that's... Now, I placed my order together. Like, I bought the two items on the same order, but they shipped separately, and I'm like, why did they ship separately if I ordered them together? Well, they both shipped, I believe, on the same day, but one got here on the 19th of March, and then one got here on the 20th of April. And I'm like, what the hell? What? How? What? So if you have been curious about the place that, you only pay shipping, it's a sham. I wouldn't recommend them. Again, you'll see that unboxing, probably Friday. If not Friday, at least sometime next week. But that place is a sham. They're a reseller. They're essentially reselling kits from everywhere from hua can to pretty much any store on AliExpress. And I was just like, I paid $25 for garbage. But I don't usually, waste canvases, so waste not, what not. What I usually do with canvases, I know I'm not going to complete. I use them for experimental purposes. So I'll be using that for, like, the videos I have coming up, which I was happy to see that you guys were excited about the pocket guide to diamond painting, because I've recorded 6 more little videos for that. So you might be getting double videos for a couple of days. And I try not to make them longer than 10 minutes. But they're going to be just like little guides that you can go back to and be like, oh, hey, so-and-so wants to know about this. And then, like, I'll have, like, a short video on, these different topics in diamond painting. So I'm excited to do that. The kids have been doing well with giving me enough time. Like, I literally have the schedule planned out now for the kids and I already told them, look, when daddy's at work overnight, we're not going to be having normal dinners. We're going to be having, like, cereal for dinner and oatmeal for dinner and, You know, the kids love having breakfast for dinner. I wonder if I should just switch up the menu and make dinner for breakfast and breakfast for dinner, because they eat more when I do breakfast for dinner than they do if I made breakfast at normal time. So I'm just like, I'm going to start 5. I'm going to start just making them eat breakfast for dinner and dinner for breakfast, because at this point, Maggie, her appetite is coming back. She's starting to actually eat more foods. And she like actually asked, could she have meat in her taco the other day? I almost jumped out of my chair. I was like, say word. You want meat in your taco? Usually Maggie is a turtle. She will eat lettuce. That's it. So when she asked, could she actually have meat in her taco? I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and pile that on there for you. Because if you have a kid like Maggie, Maggie is super picky. Okay, I'm looking for a plus symbol, but I don't see... Is that a plus symbol? I see this symbol. But that's definitely... Okay, y'all, somebody help me out here. That's a plus symbol, right? That looks like a plus symbol. Because my legend, which the legend's only on one side of the canvas, which is a 40 by 40, so it's not, you know, it doesn't have to be on both sides, I guess. But let me move some of this stuff over. I'm not seeing a plus symbol on my thing. AE5X4 triangle. That's a % sign. N3U upside down something. Oh, there it is. It's dark. Number 13. I was about to say, hey, I can't work if the symbol just isn't there. Have you ever worked on a canvas and the symbol wasn't on the canvas? Yo, I almost had a heart attack just now. 11, 17, 16, 18. But I'm hoping to powerhouse through this canvas because I'm really excited to see this. If you don't remember this image, I have actually bought this image before from Paint with Diamonds. And this is the canvas that I was fighting with them to get replaced. I literally still have it kitted up in regular diamonds. And I was fighting with them to replace the canvas, and they wouldn't. And then they kept telling me I had to send it to some lady's house in New York. And then they reimbursed me for it. And I'm like, who is this woman whose house you have me sending this random canvas to? Like, they were literally like, send the canvas to, like, I think the lady's name, like, Nikki or Nicole or something. They had me sending it to somebody's home address. And I'm like, what the hell? So I just said, you know what? Forget it. Forget it. I don't want to deal with it. I haven't ordered from Paint with Diamonds since. I'm not the biggest fan of Paint with Diamonds. Who Can't and Paint with Diamonds are two companies that I'm just not like, that they're just not my groove. And now you can add Diamond Art House to that mix because yet no. But yeah, so Maggie's getting an appetite and she actually is starting to eat a little bit more foods. And that's making me very happy because that girl is small. She is teeny tiny, okay? She's like a toothpick. One swift wind and my daughter is gone, okay? We already fly her like a kite when she's outside. And so I've been concerned about the fact that she doesn't eat like she's supposed to. Like Maggie will eat like a bird. She will pick at things and then she will put it away and then come back to it later. And I'm like, look. Nope, that's not the right one. Hold on. Circle. 14. There we go. So she'll pick at her food. She won't like necessarily eat it all at once like a normal person. And I'm okay with this as long as she eats because y'all, she eats like a bird. And I'm like, children are the only things on this planet that come with a receipt that you can't return, okay? Like, they come with receipts and you try to do the best by them. But you can't return them when they, like, misbehave. They don't give you instruction pamphlets on how to take care of them. They just give you the receipt and the child, and they're like, have fun with that. And I'm like, I feel like I was gypped out of an instruction booklet when it came to Maggie. Because does anybody else have a kid that will one day eat something? One day, she'll eat chicken. I'll make chicken like a week later, and she'll be like, I don't like chicken. But you just ate it last week. I don't like it now. Now, all of a sudden, she don't like it. Y'all, she has me about to rip my hair out, which is why I say when Mr. Coffee goes back to work, like when he's actually at work, we're going to be having all kinds of weird dinners because I don't want to cook food and then have her throw it in the trash because she doesn't like it this week. Because you never know what it's going to be that she doesn't like this week. So this week, she likes ground beef, even though she hasn't eaten ground beef in over a year. This week, she likes ground beef. She hates chicken. Last week, she liked chicken, didn't want ground beef. And then she will eat pork chops, but it has to have barbecue sauce on it. If it doesn't have barbecue sauce on it, she won't eat it. And I'm like, I can't keep track. So I've started writing down the things that she will and won't eat, because I'm just like at the point now where I'm like, I'm just going to throw a bunch of food at you, and you just like one of the game characters, you just eat what you're going to eat. Okay. Because at this point, I'm like, people are going to start thinking something wrong when everybody else in the house has some weight to him. Orion, he's solid. Okay. Orion will eat just about anything except for broccoli and carrots. He will not eat broccoli and carrots. And I'm okay with this. But he, for the most part, will eat anything else. Maggie's the one that's just like, I don't like food. And she'll even say it. She said it last week. I don't like food. I don't like eating. Now, when I met Mr. Coffee, he used to tell me the same thing. If he could live without one thing, it'd be eating. He hated eating. It was just a waste of time. Now he'll eat and throw down like nobody's business. But when I first met him, he was like, no, I hate eating. Maggie is now at the point where she hates eating. And I'm like, how do you hate eating? I'm like, you just pick the fork up and put the food in your mouth. Like, I don't understand how stressful or why you're making this as stressful as you are when you just literally put the food in your mouth. And she's like, that's just a lot of work that I don't have time for. And I'm like, you don't have time? Well, what do you think you're doing that your time is so precious that you don't have time to pick up a fork and put food into your mouth? Like, I feel like she's trying to drive me to insanity. And then there's Orion, who will eat just about anything. But then a moment, like, I try to trick him. Does anybody else try to trick their kids into eating foods that they don't like? Like, I tried tricking Orion into eating broccoli. And I went over to go check on him while he was eating. And he had picked all the broccoli out of the noodles. And he was like, yeah, I don't eat broccoli. I was like, God dang it. Now, you can't, like, hide broccoli. Because obviously broccoli has a distinct, like, look to it. But y'all, I tried. I give myself an A for effort, because I at least tried to get him to eat it, to see if he was just telling me he didn't like it. And no, he doesn't like it. He was just like, yeah, no, this is broccoli. And I'm like, it's not broccoli. He looks at me, he goes, Mom, I'm not stupid. This is broccoli. All right, fine, it's broccoli. Go away. Like, and then I get defeated whenever they find out that whatever I'm trying to, like, I try to trick Maggie into eating everything, and she won't. She sees a piece of meat in it, she won't eat it. I made chicken quesadillas, and I put a little piece of chicken right in the center of her quesadilla, and she's like, Mom, there's a piece of meat in here, and I just can't eat this. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, I don't eat meat. I'm sorry. She goes, I just can't. Like, she pushes the plate away all politely. I just can't eat this. And I'm like, if you don't pick up that damn fork, like, I can't with these kids, y'all. I can't. The eating schedule and everything else. And I'm like, I don't have enough stuff to worry about. Now I got to worry about you not wanting to eat food because it looked like, what was it? We had Angry Mac, which is just, it's another broke person meal. It's just mac and cheese with ground beef, with seasoned ground beef in it. She didn't want to eat it. And I was like, why don't you want to eat it? And she goes, because it looks funny. I'm like, you look funny. Does that mean I shouldn't talk to you? And she goes, you probably shouldn't, because I'm not a nice person, Mommy. I'm like, well, these are things we know, Maggie. These are things we know, but Mommy still loves you. And she goes, I still love you, but I'm not eating this because it looks funny. Y'all, being a parent is hard, okay? It is really hard. And I not only have the two kids here and then Minna, I have Mr. Coffee, who acts like a child at times. So, like, he's my big man child, and then I have the two kids. And it's a lot of work. So y'all pray for Miss Coffee and her sanity. I keep my hair short because I don't have much sanity left, okay? Like, it takes it little bit by little bit every day. All the sanity, like, bleeds from my soul. So, like, I feel like, and everybody's like, and cherish these moments while you can, because when they get bigger, you'll be missing them. I'm like, I don't doubt that, but, like, do they have to drive me to the brink of insanity? Like, I love my kids to death and will do anything for them, but at this point in time, I'm, like, threatening them when they eat. Every night they eat dinner, I have to threaten them. And I'm like, you came with a receipt and I cannot return you, so you need to eat your food because there is paperwork on you. Like, I have to tell them about the government situation that I am obligated to feed them dinner every night because they don't understand why they have to eat every night. but then they'll ask me to cook dinner and then won't eat it. Or Maggie's big thing right now is she likes to ask, can she have something? And she'll be real specific with it. Mom, can I have noodles and cheese? All right, I'll make her noodles and cheese. She means macaroni, by the way. She wants mac and cheese. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll pull out one of the little Kraft single things, put it in the microwave. Boom, she got macaroni. Give her the macaroni. She'll look at it. I don't want it. I'm sorry, what? And this is what I mean by drive me to the brink of insanity, okay? I just gave you what you asked for, and now you don't want it. And she's like, no, I'm not hungry. Push it away. She's done. Okay. Now, back in my day, when your parents told, and tell me if this was like this for anybody else, if your parents fed you something and you didn't like it, then you went hungry. You didn't get options. Like, I'm trying to give, like, you're supposed to want the best for your child. You're supposed to give them more than what you had. So I try to give them, like, 2 options. Like, even the school gives them 2 options. You can either have cold lunch or hot lunch. So at home, I'm like, you can either have peanut butter and jelly, or you can just chill with a bag of chips or some popcorn or something. And for the most part, that works. But then there's times where Maggie's just like, oh, I want spaghetti and meatballs. Okay, make spaghetti and meatballs. I don't want this. That's disgusting. What? Like, I can't. And then meanwhile, Orion's like, I'll eat it. And he'll just, gobble it down. And I'm like, thanks, Orion. You didn't even give her a chance to try to eat it. And he's like, well, she wasn't going to eat it. She's always wasting food. Now I saved you from her wasting food. And he just looks at me. You're welcome. Okay, thank you so much for that, Orion. I greatly appreciate it. It's twice as hard doing this, especially when I have to do it by myself, because, of course, with Mr. Coffee's schedule and working nights, he sleeps all day. So during the day, most of the madness happens, and by the time he wakes up, it settles down. And then I have to deal with his madness and whatever he has going on. And so, yeah, it's just, Miss Coffee doesn't have much sanity left. And I just think it's funny that the main times that he will wake up out of his sleep is when he hears me out here talking. Like, if I'm making a video, that won't wake him up. But if he hears me on the phone, actually, that's who I was talking to. Minna's Graham called me yesterday to ask me about cell phones, because she's thinking about getting a cell phone instead of having a house phone. So she wanted my advice on cell phones. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, Minna's dad has a cell phone, but Minna's dad, if he could, Minna's dad would still have the Nokia brick, because that's just what he liked. That was just him. So yeah, so that's how my week has been going. But I at least got my prayers answered, and I have my Charmin Ultra Soft, and I got my cornbread, and of course, now I only make chili on the days where it's really cold outside. And of course, we are having a heat wave today at 72 degrees. Y'all, I ain't never been so happy to see 72 degrees in my entire life. I'm like, is this a sign that warm weather is coming? And then tomorrow 66, and then it just gradually goes back down, and I'm like, so it gives us a little reprieve from the cold, just enough to go, do you remember what the cold or the warm feels like? Oh, you remember? Good. Now here's the cold again. Like, the temperatures changing drastically is killing me, and that makes people sick too. So on top of the virus and stuff going on right now, we also have the people sick because of the virus, and now because the weather keeps changing and doing all kinds of weird things. So hopefully it won't affect too much. I'm going to try to take the kids outside today to let them just ride their bike up and down the sidewalk just to get some fresh air. We're still not on full quarantine or anything like everybody else, but I still like to keep the kids in the house for the most part, and they'll get to go outside and play on the sidewalk with their bikes and stuff. They'll ride back and forth for like an hour, and then after they're tired, just enough fresh air that at night when it's time for them to go to bed, they can't fight it because they're too tired. Like, I don't know what it is about fresh air in children, but it knocks them right out. It's like they're alcohol. Like, they go outside, they get all that fresh air, and then they come back inside and they're ready to pass out. It's the best thing it's the best thing ever. It literally is the best thing ever. So yeah, so this canvas I'm hoping to have done by next week. I haven't diamond painted in 2 days. And I was super excited when I got to start this canvas today because I've been staring at it for a couple of days. And I've been wanting to start it, but I was like, no, I have to take a break in between canvases or I'll burn myself out. So I've been taking a break, trying to figure out what canvas I want to work on. Finally decided on this one. So this will be the canvas we're seeing. And of course, I will have it linked down below. But with that said, I must get going. I hope you all are doing well, staying safe. Don't forget to wash your hands. Don't touch your face. If you're new to the channel and would like to see more random videos just like this one, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. But with that said, folks, I must now bid you adieu. But not before reminding you, like I always try to be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye, guys.